One of the questions I'm hearing a lot at the moment from financial advisors is really around questions they're getting from their older clients typically, who are saying, look, term deposit rates are now 5% or greater. Why wouldn't I put all the defensive assets in term deposits rather than these crazy bonds? After all, bonds were down by 10, 12% last year. I don't ever want to go through that again. Now, you ask a bond dealer about bonds and term deposits, they'll talk your ear off about how superior bonds are, but no one actually understands the word that they say. Now, here's something that's important. You know, term deposits, you know the rate at the start of the year. Let's say you're getting a 1-year term deposit, then on the 1st of January, you're quoted a rate, and that is what you'll get. The trouble with bonds is you don't know what you're going to get till the end of the year. So the only way to do this properly is to compare the term deposit rate at the start of the year with the bond return at the end of the year. And you can see in the chart here that that's what we're doing. Now, a couple of important things from this chart. Number one, last year was the worst year on record for bonds. And the only other time we've really seen that kind of behaviour was way back in 1994. By the way, for similar reasons. High inflation, central banks kicked up interest rates and bonds tanked. It was called the Great Bond Bear Market, but we've just seen another, even bigger Great Bond Bear Market in 2022. But the other thing that you'll note is that the average return on bonds is superior to that average return from the term deposits. So over the last 30 years, if you were in term deposit, 1-year term deposits, and you rolled them 1st of January every year, your average return is 4.8% compared to an average return of bonds of 7.3%. So from a total return perspective, bonds do much better than term deposits over the long run. Now let's have a look at the defensive qualities of bonds versus term deposits. To do that, think of a 60-40 portfolio. 60% in equities and 40% is either going to be in term deposits or in bonds. So what you can see in the table here, that equities have got an annualized return of 8.9%, and you've got a volatility of around 13%. Now, if I look at the 60-40 portfolio where the 40% is in the global bonds, what you can see here is I've got a slight reduction in total return. Instead of 8.9, we're down to 8.4%, so I'm losing 0.5% per annum. But look at the reduction in volatility. It's gone from 13.5 down to 8.4. That's about a 40% reduction in volatility. Now, that's all well and good, you say, but what I really want to do is just have these nice, safe, secure term deposits sitting there. And so if 60-40 portfolio is 60% Aussie equities and 40% term deposits, by the way, a very common portfolio for non-advised self-managed super funds. But if that's my portfolio, then not much difference in volatility. It's down a tiny bit, and that's because the equities are driving the volatility. But you've now lost another 1% per annum, and that's all got to do with, yes, bonds have greater volatility, but typically it works against equities, and that helps your overall portfolio. And of course, that's the way you should think about things in terms of overall portfolio. Bonds or term deposits? Well, actually the answer is it depends. Short-term needs, stay with term deposits. If you're a long-term investor and rather than focusing on income, you want to think about total return and cash flow to meet any needs, then you're far better off in a bond portfolio combined with your equity portfolio. And the very last comment is, I know everyone wants to compare the term deposit rate to the yield to maturity of the bond. Don't do that. The yield to maturity says nothing about what the bond return will be. The yield to maturity won't measure any capital appreciation that you'll get from bonds. So in the end, bonds or term deposits, for me, I'd rather go with liquidity and total return and the fact I get capital appreciation from the bond than I would from a term deposit that's a fixed rate and it's illiquid. But That's me. Everyone's got different needs. So with that, thanks for watching.